This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CashFly.
This episode of Know-How is brought to you by Tracker. Tracker makes losing things a thing of the past. Pair Tracker to your smartphone, attach it to any item, and find its precise location with a tap of a button. Visit thetracker.com right now and enter the promo code KNOWHOW for 30% off your entire order. On today's show,
You'll know how to give power to your AquaVase.
welcome to Know-How. It's the Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade. I am Father Robert Balaser.
And I am Brian Burnett.
And you may notice that we're not at our regular radio corner desk. That's because we have another Let's Solder. We did this in the old brick house. It was actually a lot of fun. You know, we do have a project we have to complete.
That's right.
But it's kind of, minimal. It's a little bit of soldering to put this together. We needed to create a power box so that we could control our AquaVase. This is the one that we've been building up for the last month.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we're a little constricted, but that's okay because we're having the good old-fashioned solder off. And I like those buttons you have on there. They're very clicky.
Yes, indeed. And if you go to my overhead view, so of course, as we know, BFG stands for it's the base power, it's the full spectrum power, and the grow power.
That's not what I was thinking.
No, it's always been like that. So this controls the Arduino, this controls the full spectrum light, and this controls the grow light. I mean, BFG, I don't know what else that might mean, Brian.
Huh. I expect like a green light to be emanating from it and then destroying all the demons around me. You know, like the big freaking gun from Doom.
Brian, if you want to keep working here, I got to tell you, you got to stay off the drugs.
Or what was that really bad, or that Disney movie that came out? The big freaking giant
big
or
friendly
something?
Giant. Yeah, that's what this stands for. This is big friendly giant.
Yep.
Now, this little BFG controller is a way for you to complete your AquaVase project. If you've been following along with us, it means that you've got your LED array. It means that you've got your base with the Arduino controlled WS2812 lights. It also means that you've got the little cap, which you can adjust according to what you want to plant.
Right.
Now, what we figured out over the last couple of weeks is this actually just really works well as a decoration. We don't even need to plant anything in this. It looks kind of cool.
Go figure. Anything that we put LEDs on that blink and stuff, we just end up staring at.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to take you step by step on how you actually assemble this. This is important because you are dealing with power, and you're also dealing with water. So anytime you put those two together, you need to make sure you take a couple of precautions because there will be spills, there will be accidents, and we don't want you blowing power out for the circuit or your house or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's right. You've put your life on the line for this project multiple times, and mine.
I've actually put your life on the line
exactly.
for this project.
Hey, Brian, I need to test something real quick. Can you just hold this for me?
Okay. All right, let's jump straight in here. The first thing that we're going to want to do is go over the parts that we need for this specific moment of our AquaVase project. And remember, we will be doing an upgrade to this because I want to show them how they can use the remote control to activate this remotely. But this is the cheapest way to get this project on the ground and running. The first thing you're going to need are rocker switches, and this is what they look like. These I got from Amazon. They're just a very easy way for you to be able to actuate either AC or DC power. We've got a link for this. If you go here, you can find 20 pieces of these for about $7. So they are not expensive at all. And what I would suggest is pick up a pack because you'll never go wrong with these.
Right. And you know why there's a 1 and a 0 on them?
Because you need to know if the ONN OFF discriminator is in the right position.
Yes, that's exactly what it is,
what
right?
What were you thinking?
Oh, I was just saying it's binary, right?
It's binary.
Like 0 for
off,
and 1 for on.
The other thing to check when you're buying these is these are actually AC and DC rated. This is important if you want to go on to make another switch to control, say, the AC pump. This will just as comfortably do 125 volts AC as it will do up to, I think it's 30 volts DC.
Okay.
But just make sure that if you are going to have a mixed mode, that you get switches that support both because you don't want to put a DC-only switch into an AC circuit or vice versa.
What happens?
Well, I mean, like if you've got a DC one that does lights, you'll just pop the light and kill the switch.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Shocking.
Well, hopefully not. Okay, the other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some 4-pin connectors because we want to make this project so that it's not impossible to disassemble.
Right.
So we got these. These are quick connect 4-pin connectors. I bought a series of them with both male and female sides. We'll show you which goes where, but I got if you show the link for this, Alex, a set of 20 of these for about $9, $10 once you add the shipping. Again, these are used very commonly, so get yourself a lot of them. In fact, I went to eBay and I bought like 50 sets just because I know I'm going to use them over and over again.
Yeah, it's like those other things that we get where it's better to buy them in bulk in case they're cheap enough and you mess them up.
Yeah.
Like you get them stuck together. Like, there we go.
Are you breaking it before we even start the project?
That's what happens when you put this stuff in front of me. You don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. I start messing with it.
I guess so. The other thing you're going to need are some JST connectors. Again, I bought a bunch of these. If you go to the link, for $2, you can get yourself enough for this project. This is an eBay link here. 10 pairs. I ended up buying, I think it was 200 pairs because I use these pretty constantly.
I was going to say, are these just leftovers from the quadcopter project?
Well, I mean, I bought these after just because I like them so much. They're easy to use and they're cheap, which is a good combination.
Yeah, those are two qualifiers that we appreciate in our projects.
Precisely. You're also going to need adhesive-lined heat shrink tubing. We talked about this on a previous episode of Know-How when we did some feedback. This looks like regular heat shrink tubing, but inside it's actually got heat-activated adhesive. And the reason why we want that is we want this to create a watertight barrier on the wires so that if there is a spill, and remember, because of water tension, a spill will tend to follow a wire.
Yeah.
We don't want it slipping into the heat shrink tubing and shorting anything out. So we've got adhesive lined, which means that once we heat shrink it to the wire, it should give us a pretty tight seal.
Okay, cool.
And the last thing you're going to need are the STL files for the 3D print. This is really simple. I'm not even going to take you through the construction of this box in this episode because next week, we've got an episode where I'm going to show you how to create a nano box. It's the start of our modular project.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, very cool. But you'll be able to download all the STL files. There's 3 of them specifically. There's the top, there's the middle, and then there's the bottom, the tray. And if you download those, you'll be able to create your own little project box. And then you can customize the top depending on how many switches you want. I could have added one more switch to control an AC pump, but I didn't want AC and DC running through the same box at the same time.
Right.
Too easy for you to make a mistake and route the wrong power to the wrong place and blow everything.
So you haven't found a DC bubbler yet?
I played with a few and they just weren't strong enough. So I'm still looking. I'm sure there's one out there. I might actually just end up building a pump because I want the right combination of strength of the pump, so I need enough air flowing through. It has to be DC powered. I would prefer DC 12, so I'm not doing any step up, step down.
Yeah.
And I also wanted something that was semi-quiet.
I wonder how difficult it would be to build your own little. Like,
I've done
compressor.
it before, but it was really loud.
Was it?
Really, really loud. So I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to be getting to all of this. We're going to show you how to put this together in real time. Brian and I are both going to be soldering our own little bits.
Solder off.
It is a solder off. But first, let's go ahead and thank the first sponsor of this episode of Know-How. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
You've got a smartphone, right?
I do have a smartphone.
And you know what? I've got a little dongle in my car that makes it a smart car.
You do?
Yeah. I also have a pretty smart laptop. I've got a couple of smart cameras that can tell me whether or not the people I know are actually coming through the public spaces that I have equipment in.
You got a lot of smart stuff.
I've got smart stuff, but it just really kind of chafes my hide when I do dumb things with smart stuff.
Oh, like losing it?
Like losing it. I've been lucky enough not to lose any big ticket items in the last couple of years, but especially when I was traveling, I can't tell you the number of times I left something like a set of keys in the thing in the what do you call it? The airline tray area.
Oh yeah, no, that happens to me all the time with my wallet or something. Because once everything's out of my pockets and in the bucket, I forget about it.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if you could attach some coin-sized device to the things that you treasure the most and have it automatically report when you're walking away or tell you exactly where it might be located?
Only if it had a battery that lasted for a year.
I would definitely want that battery that lasted for a year, and I would want that battery to be replaceable so I don't have to replace the entire device in order to get a new charge.
Well, that's why we have the tracker.
Exactly.
And I've got it right here.
The tracker is the best way to do smart things with your smart devices. Now, this little coin-sized device may not seem like much, but inside you've got a GPS tracking unit. You can pair up to 10 of these to your smartphone, your smart device, and here's the cool thing. It will do tracking and reverse tracking. Because it connects via Bluetooth LE, this battery lasts for 1 year, but it means that up to 10 devices can automatically tell my phone with the touch of an app, with the touch of a finger on an app, exactly where they are, when was the last time I saw them, when was the last time they received a beacon from the tracker. Now, if I lose my phone, I could actually push the button on the back of this tracker, there's a little teeny tiny one, that will allow my phone to ring even if I have it set to silent. It's really an all-in-one system to make sure that you don't lose your smart things. You just pair a tracker to your smartphone, you attach it to any item, and you can find its precise location with the tap of a button. What I love about this is that they're using a crowd GPS system in other devices. If you walk too far away, if you go beyond the range of Bluetooth, you won't be able to see your device any longer. Not so with the tracker. As long as the device is within 100 feet of any tracker user, and there are over 1.5 million devices in circulation today, you will receive a ping, a little informational piece of data on your phone saying where was the last time your system, your tracker, came within the crowd GPS network. This means that you can find your device even if you're half a world away. Now, if you add Tracker Atlas, that's something that works with a Tracker Bravo or a third-party Bluetooth tracker, you'll be able to pinpoint your item on a customizable floor plan of your home, your office. It can give you that kind of detail. You simply ask Tracker Atlas where your item is, and you'll instantly get an answer. No need to search. Folks, this is the best way to make sure that you don't lose the devices that contain the information that means so much to you. I want you to go to thetracker.com and never lose your possessions again. Plus, just for our audience, if you enter the promo code KNOWHOW, you get 30% off your entire order. That's thetracker.com, promo code KNOWHOW. The Tracker, TheTracker.com, promo code KNOWHOW for 30% off your entire Tracker order. And we thank Tracker for their support of Know-How.
Have you ever heard the cute little speaker that comes out?
That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's what the noise it makes if my backpack gets too far away.
That's the noise that say, hey, where you going?
Hey,
We're not done.
Don't forget me.
We got business. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and first disconnect power to this, and I'm going to open it up so you can see how simple this circuit is. It really is not complicated at all. I've designed these little nano boxes so that they use some M3 screws to attach what I call the top piece. So that's, in this particular case, it's holding 3 of those rocker switches. Yeah. We're going to do the soldering. This is a super simple circuit. Essentially, I've got my 4-pin connector here. One wire for each of those colors goes to one of these terminals, and then I've got a shared power line here that goes into my JST connector. In fact, let me remove the bottom.
That makes sense.
It should make this even more clear.
That's super simple.
Super. And the simpler it is, the better it is. We can make things really complicated, but we probably shouldn't. So I've got my JST connector. This is where I'm getting 12 volts in. That JST connector has a shared ground with the 4-pin connector, so that's just black to black.
Right.
On this side, what I did was I stripped this wire at 2 different places, here and here, to line up exactly with the top of these rocker switches, and then I just tacked them in. I soldered them. I've got 1 line each here going to each of those rocker switches so that each of these will actuate a different wire on this pin, either the red, the green, or the blue.
Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. You can just do power across all 3 like that.
Precisely. And then over here on the main unit, I've got another 4-pin connector, and those pins are connected to the different leads I need to run the different components of the AquaVase. So again, everything is common ground, so all the grounds are tied together. But this one runs the base. The green one runs the base, so that provides power to the Arduino. This red one is, let's see, that's the center one. So that's controlling the full spectrum lights. That's the white lights. And this last one, this blue one, is going to the grow lights. And as long as I solder these correctly on this side, it means I now have a quick disconnect cable that will allow me to move my project around. It also means that if I have any future devices or projects that need 12 volts, I can, as long as I use the same wiring schematic, I can use the same project box to give it power.
That's awesome.
All right, here we go. So
looks good.
You ready for this, Brian?
Yeah, let's try it out.
Okay, the first thing you're going to need to do, and first of all, I have to break my pieces off from this. I'm using my Dremel here. So,
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I need, wait. So that's a middle piece for you.
Okay.
That's a middle piece for me. I'm going to take my little... Thank you, Dremel. That thing is such a workhorse, by the way. I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing Dremel at Maker Faire. I want to see what they got new.
Yeah, have you had to clean out the head or anything on it? Or no,
that
it's been
thing's
fine.
going strong. I mean,
Nice.
I had an issue that was my issue because...
What did you do? What'd you do, Padre?
Well, you know how I like to use glue on the bed to keep the
Yeah,
prints
like
down?
a stick of glue kind of thing.
Yeah, so if you leave a glob of glue, it actually goes up into the head.
Oh, yeah. Like as the head's moving around, it'll collect it.
Don't do that. That was bad. But that was my fault. That was entirely my fault. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to get our 4 rocker switches into our little
4
top
or
panel
3?
here. Or 3 of them, sorry.
Okay, I was like, Padre, I think I lost one already.
So I always have off towards the bottom. That's kind of the universal. And I've designed this so these just flip right in. If you buy the switches that we have in the links, they literally just click in.
Nice. Some good measurements going on
That's
there.
good measurements. I use a digital caliper to make that happen. And there we go. 2 and 3.
So satisfying when things just
I
click
know,
in
right?
like that.
I love it when they click. And you can remove these, but you have to like squeeze both of these tabs to make them come back out.
Nope, they're in. They're not coming back out now.
Just make sure that all of the switches are in the same orientation. So off at the bottom, on at the top. Did you just...
No, of course I got it right.
I just want to
Down
make
on the
sure,
bottom.
you're my bro. I got to make sure you're taken care of. Okay, now this is actually one of the fun parts. I want to make this as easy to solder as possible. So I want it to look like that circuit, which means the bottom here is going to be a shared cable. I'm going to take the positive lead of my JST connector, and then I'm going to strip it twice so that it kind of lines up with my switches. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's some advanced soldering there, though.
No, and this ain't nothing.
Stripping the wire like that, it's kind of... I don't know.
Okay, Brian.
I'll give it a
all right.
shot. I'll
Let's
give it a shot.
Okay, so layer, you can see what I do, and then you can follow after me. This is going to be super simple. All I'm doing is I'm taking my my switches here. I know that this end I want tacked in there, right? So now if I stretch this out, I know I should make a strip here and a strip here.
Don't mess
But
up.
here's the fun part. If I strip this one first, I will mess up that measurement when I strip this one because the insulation will move over. So you have to start at the most inward one. So I have to strip here, clear off that insulation, then strip here, and then finally strip towards the end to make that work.
All right,
So
I'll
that's
give it a shot.
That's my spot right there. Do you have wire strippers?
I don't.
Oh wait,
I do.
Yeah, see, I put
Hey,
I
you
put a
set me
set
up.
for you.
Oh,
Hey,
no, these don't look that
You're my
great.
bro. No, actually, those are a lot easier to use than these. That's why I gave you those.
You wanted to challenge yourself?
Well, no, I mean,
And not challenge
I didn't want to give you ones that will allow you to complain that you had inferior equipment. Do you want my strippers, Brian?
No,
There
you
you
can
go.
keep your strippers.
Sheesh. Try to do a bro a favor, and he's like, "Oh,
Looking
well,
down on your strippers. All right, so
the key here is not too much pressure, because what you'll do is you'll nick the internal wiring, and you don't want to do that because then you have to start over.
so gentle.
So I'm gentle, and that's why I like those. That's got a bit more feedback. I know when I'm actually cutting. All right, so there we go. So that's about as much as I want. I want that much of a strip. See, so that lines up. Look at that.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. You're just making the one cut and then sliding the.
I'm sliding the insulation over.
Right. Okay.
And then what you can do is you give this a little twist, just like that. Just twist this wire, and it like binds together all the individual strands. It makes it a lot easier to tin,
Okay.
and a lot easier to solder. Make sure you strip enough so that you get bare wire all the way across this contact, because you don't want this contact to be blocked off by the insulation. So that's not actually big enough of a strip yet. Let's do a bit more.
Which JST
There we go.
connector are
Boom.
you doing? Okay, it's like
The female.
Okay,
Right,
the
you want the
female
female. A quick note on power plugs. Whenever you're running power plugs, the easiest way to know whether or not it's safe is you should always use the female for the side that is giving power. The male should be used on the side that is taking power. I know
Isn't that just a guy
that's
thing?
just a guy thing, but no. But this is the reason. Look at these connectors, Alex. So this is the female side. So if I have this energized, it's actually difficult to make contact with those things. I'd have to forcefully put in a piece of metal in order to bridge that.
Right.
If I use the male side, any like a screw that gets lodged in here, it can short off those contacts.
Okay.
So this it's just a tiny bit safer to do it this way.
Okay. Good.
Right. How you doing? How are you doing with your stripping there, Brian?
Well, I'm starting slow because I don't.
Slow's good. No, don't make a mistake. Okay, so what I've got over here is I've got this first one done. So now I know where I want my second strip to start, which is right there. Boom. Oh, hey, you know what I started watching the other night?
What?
People are gonna go, what? But I finally.
I'll reserve judgment.
I finally gave Attack on Titan a good go through because I'd seen little bits and pieces, but
yeah.
And
then, so how far are you now?
I finished.
You finished it.
I finished.
Wow. And what'd you think? Not so good. Good. What?
I don't understand the allure.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't watched it, but Lawrence was actually talking about this the other night. Maybe you were talking to him.
No. I just heard. I mean, it's something I've been wanting to watch for a while because people have been telling me how awesome it is. And yeah, I like the animation style, but the story is sort of like it could be any apocalyptic story.
Well, because he said he liked the first episode, and then after that,
just kind of died off. Yeah, I mean, the concept is interesting, but
what's the concept?
The concept is these like huge humanoid type creatures that
live on
humans.
Titan?
Well, they don't actually eat the humans; they just kill humans.
Does it have anything to do with the moon around Saturn?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's kind of what I thought it was. I was like, oh yeah, some futuristic society that has a base on Titan, and then it gets attacked.
Attack on Titanfall? Is that what you were thinking?
Kind of.
Okay. All right. So what I've got here, I've got this properly stripped now. So I've got three bits where I can solder here, here, and here. I'm going to tin it first. So I'm going to tin both the wire and the contacts on my rocker switches because I want this to be nice and easy when I go to tack it. So I'm going to put it into my helping hands like so.
Is this enough space? Do I need to?
See, you want enough of space to clear. Let's get this up here. To completely envelop that rocker switch. And
okay,
you don't have to
pull it down.
So a bit more.
I'm afraid of breaking the wire.
That's okay. Hey, you know what? I've got extra wires for you, Brian. Because that's the kind of love.
Because you know how I'm going to mess up.
No, I've done it too. Everybody accidentally breaks something at some point, sometime.
Not unless you're a director.
Can you hand me the solder? It's in the mug.
Is it this?
No.
Ah, here we go.
There we go. Thank
Is this
you.
the good stuff? Or?
That's the good stuff. I gave you the good stuff, Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I told you, we're bros, man. I'll take care of you.
When it comes to soldering, you gotta look out.
I really like this soldering iron, by the way. I love how fast it heats up. I don't love that I've got the cable all tangled. I'm about to hold the wrong side and start smelling chicken.
It could happen to anyone.
Oh, you know what else? The jukebox. My jukebox the other day, it started playing. I have a video jukebox.
What's the jukebox?
It randomly picked something from my my media server.
Oh, okay.
It started playing a rerun of not Cowboy Bebop, but Outlaw Star.
Oh, I saw you tweet about that.
I forgot how good that is.
I missed that show.
It's a really good series.
I only ever watched it when it was on Adult Swim.
And Lance Haskell, he's the guy who used to work with Funimation.
Oh, okay.
He was telling me how, you know what, if you've seen Firefly,
yeah,
that's basically what it is. Outlaw Star was Firefly before Firefly.
I could totally see that, yeah. All right, got that one.
It's the folksy, seems sort of shallow captain who ends up being very deep.
So you have all those episodes?
Of course.
Could I get some of those for?
No.
Because we're going to Maker Faire.
Buy your own.
I'm probably going to rewatch Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo on the way to New York.
You just want to watch the episode where Ayn eats mushrooms, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got to work my way to it.
Right.
Can't just skip to it.
Okay, so the other thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and tin these the blades on the rocker switches. And the reason why I'm doing this is ultimately, if I've got enough solder on this wire, so if I've tinned it properly, and if I tin these properly, I shouldn't have to add any more solder. I can just reheat it. The solder will melt on both sides and then rejoin. And remember, whenever you're doing this, you really want to be applying the solder to the surface and not to the iron. If you're applying it to the iron,
you're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad time. You're not going to like it.
Not going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. How you doing over there, Brian?
I'm still working on my...
Hey, man, it's okay. You take your time. Take your time. That's why there's two of us.
Okay, good.
Make quick work out of this job, out of this project. We'll get all AquaVase up.
Well, it's like I don't want to tear it and then have to start over again. I think I almost got it.
And also, you got to remember, this is not like a standard strip job because you have to move an entire length of insulation. I like doing, and I have a lot of practice because this is how we assembled the LED array, if you remember.
I do remember that. Yeah, and you did this, but like 25 times.
So I have practice.
Practice makes perfect.
The other thing that you want to remember is, especially with devices that have both like metal blades and a polycarb housing, you never want to put heat on the blades for too long. Otherwise, you're going to start to melt the housing.
Because the heat starts to transfer through.
Right, which is why I'm doing one blade at a time on each rather than both on the same switch back to back, because I want to be able to spread out I want to allow it to cool before I do the second one.
Right, that makes sense.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I can use words. It has good words.
It has good. Hey, you know what? I have the best words.
The best words.
My words are amazing. All right, here we go. Okay, and I think, there we go. I think maybe we'll time a bit more here. All right. Now, if I did this properly, and I probably didn't, I shouldn't have to add any more solder when I go to attach my power lead. I should just be able to reflow the solder that's already there. And let's see if I can get you a better angle. This is so strange trying to do this so the camera can see it. There we go. There we go. See how that lines up? That's what we want. That's the magic quadrant, baby.
Sweet.
I should stop saying that.
I should probably plug in my soldering iron at this point.
That would be good.
Got to heat her up.
And remember, if it smells like chicken,
you're doing it wrong.
Or you're doing it really right.
Yeah, it depends on what you're working on.
All right, Alex, if you come back over here, we're just going to reflow this. There you go. I'm going to make sure that the solder melts on both sides.
Oh, you can hear the sizzle. Oh, no, that's you blowing into the mic, isn't it?
It's my special effects, Brian.
It sounds like bacon.
Another trick when you're doing something like this, if you get the first one, if you tack it, what you can do is you can then pull, because that's providing like a base, and it makes it a lot easier to do all the subsequent ones.
All right, so I've measured it out. I took my time, and I think I lined it up pretty well.
So you want to go ahead and tin your wires.
Okay.
And there you go. See, I didn't have to add any more solder. All I did was use the solder that was already on the contacts. And look at that. See how nice and clean that is?
On the wire or on the switches?
On both.
On both. Oh, so you tinned the switch?
I tinned the wire and the switch.
Where did you tin it? I wasn't watching. I was paying attention to my wire.
Yeah, so just like here, let me show you real quick again. All you do is heat up the blade enough so that it flows the solder. And there you go.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah. It may not stick. You may actually want to use my iron because I've dialed my iron into the temperature you need for this particular.
Oh, no. I'll use my iron.
All right. I'm telling you.
This was a gift. This was a birthday gift.
Yeah, and how long did it stay in the package before it was finally used?
About until the next birthday. I thought it was one of those, you get it on your birthday and then you save it until your birthday.
That's how that works. I've heard that many people do that.
Where's the iFixit kit? Because my tip is falling out.
Okay, maybe you want to disconnect.
Yeah.
You know what? Just use my iron.
No.
Okay, the iFixit kit's on the cart over near the radio corner. It's so
right,
far
I'll
away.
It's so
far away. Here, there you go. All right, so while Brian gets that together, I'm going to continue on the project. Okay, here's what we want to do. We need to connect this ground wire to the ground wire for the 4-pin connector because we're going to be using a common ground for all of our circuits. And then I need to connect the green, the red, and the blue to each of these. And again, this is my template. So this one is what I want to follow, which means the first one is going to be green, the second one is going to be red, and the third one is going to be blue. Now you'll notice what I did was I actually clipped the wires so that they would be an equal length. If I didn't do that, I'd have a loop of wire, spare wire for the red, and a big spare loop of wire for the blue. If I cut it individually, then I can make it so that it's more or less straight. Do you see how that works, Brian?
Yeah, no, it looks good.
It's just neater. It's a neater way to do it.
And just to be 100% sure, I'm connecting the red to the off position, right? So the bottom part.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So actually, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. If you look at this, there is only on or off. So in the off position, it's a broken circuit. There's nothing flowing from anywhere. When I hit on, it shorts the two blades. That's it.
Okay.
Now, you can also buy rocker switches that are 3 position, so that off shunts power through the other side. But this is just a two position switch.
Okay. Yeah. That's simple.
It's very, very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and strip out my wires a little bit. Again, I want enough so that I can easily attach them to the blades, but not so much that I have a lot of extra wire sticking out the other side, because then that just adds the possibility that it'll short out. And now again, we look at this. So this is my little template. This is what I want it to look like when I'm done. Go, Brian. Go, Brian. You got this. You got this.
Try.
You got it, bro.
I gotta like scoot over a little because I don't have enough length, and I'm right-handed.
Now you know what it's like to try to solder on camera. Okay, there we go. So what we're doing is my green one is going to be the longest, and then my red one and my blue one. And I just followed the natural progression of wires here just to make it a tiny bit easier. And then I'm going to snip them. So I've got my diagonal cutters, my dikes here. What I'm going to do is hold the green one where it should be. And that tells me where I need to snip the red wire. So the red wire should be cut right about there. Right about there. And let's not make a mistake.
We don't make mistakes on that.
Oh, I make mistakes all the time. I don't know about you, but I am Father Mistake. Right there. Okay, so that is how long I want that one. And you can cut a little short instead of a little bit long, because you can always fix it, but if you cut too short, you're done. Okay, so that I want to cut right about here. Okay, so with the staggered lengths, I should now be able to solder these to those terminals without having a lot of excess wire there. So when you get to this part, Brian, just that's how you want it to look.
That makes sense. Okay, because we're hooking up the different switches.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna fine cut right here off camera, because trying to hold it up for the camera is, as you know, it makes you mess up.
It's already difficult enough to solder for me, let alone try and do it with a microphone and then like position it on camera.
But you know what? You pull it off, bro.
Yeah, right.
You pull it off.
No one could ever tell that I was struggling or that I just burnt myself.
Hey, I've always forgotten to ask you, what was the first anime that you watched?
The first?
Like the one that you remember, the one that got you into it, and you're like, oh, this is cool. Not Looney Tunes, but finally.
Dragon Ball Z. I think
Really?
Dragon Ball Z, was the first one. But then, anything that they played on Adult Swim. Really.
Oh, Adult Swim. Oh, wow. See, that's the generational thing. You think of Adult Swim, and that's like where it started for me.
Yeah.
Adult Swim was the bonus I got after midlife.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand how you would ever find any cartoons or anything before.
Well, we had KTEH, which was a UHF channel here in the Bay Area, and so it was really hard to get, but that's where we had Robotech. And it was the first time, like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is people die. People never die in cartoons.
Not in cartoons. But then from there, I think like Cowboy Bebop was probably the next big one that I got into, and then FLCL and Tenchi Muyo.
See, I was never a fan of Fooly Cooly. People told me how awesome it was. The art's cool.
I think it's a kind of a generational thing. Like with watching that cartoon as a teenager has more of an effect on you than if you're already like kind of old.
Right. We've got who was it? Reverb Mike saying Scooby Doo, and I Am Special saying Speedy Gonzales, and that's what I grew up with. But that's not anime; that's animation.
Yeah, I mean, I watched all those. I mean, me and Alex, we watched all the classic Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And what is it? Why am I thinking of Muppet Babies? That's not a classic.
Well, it is. But I mean, think about this. Do you know how terrifying Muppet Babies actually is?
Right? Isn't it?
Right?
This is frightening.
Especially like the lady with no face.
Well, that's like Charlie Brown, isn't it? Like you don't ever see the adults.
Charlie Brown is actually pretty terrifying as well. I'm not giving Charlie Brown a pass.
No. But I like Charlie Brown, the pumpkin, the mystery of the great pumpkin.
Ooh.
All right, so I think I'll show you my my work here and see what you think. Is that
Hey,
passable.
That's actually pretty good. Maybe the middle one you might need a tiny bit more solder because it looks like it's kind of a it's a light connection here.
Yeah, it worked when I
It'll work.
like when I set it. So I was like, all right, I'll just move on to the next one. Okay,
Could
I'll
you
put a little
pass
more
me the
solder.
Here we go. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to tin my wires just like before. I'm going to tin my wires. I've already tinned the blade, so it should be easy to fix that part. So there we go.
So you know how like I plugged in my soldering iron
Oh no!
and then the tip fell out
And you burned.
and now it's like stuck. Ooh, it's hot.
And folks, that's why we can't keep anything nice on the know-how sets.
I wanted to use my soldering iron.
I know. I feel you. I told you that the iFixit kit's
I'm
on
gonna
the,
go grab
the cart.
Audience, please excuse me for a moment.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Maybe for your next birthday, I'll get you another iFixit kit.
That would be awesome.
So you could keep that in the box for a year. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the blades, just like I did with the previous ones. And if I did my job correctly, it should just boom, boom, and boom. Yeah, it lines up perfectly. This is probably not the best angle for me, but it's the best angle for the audience. And so that's what I'm going to do. That's all that matters. Because you know what, Know-How crew? You know what, Kitas? You are the universe.
Hey, you never answered what first anime you watched. That
No, Robotech.
Oh, Robotech.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally
that's right.
Robotech, man.
Okay. What was that one that you watched that you said on TV? It was only like 4 minutes long, but then the
right.
actual thing is like an hour.
Ninja Scrolls.
Which I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
There's good reason why they didn't.
it was already really violent. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, wow, they made it way tame. But when I saw the uncut version, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
that's why
legal?
they didn't have it on TV.
This is horrible. That and Fist of the North Star.
Never heard of that.
That was one of like people's heads exploding after a punch. It was very weird.
I can't. Stuff like that happened in Dragon Ball Z. I guess it was a little bit more tame though.
But I mean, imagine like the Z fighters fighting regular people. That's essentially what Fist of the North Star is. It's
so
horrible.
terrible.
It's so unfair. It's like, yeah, that person's gonna die. That person, they're all gonna die. There's a lot of dead people here. I'm sure there's people in the audience who remember Fist of the North Star.
Did you ever watch any of the Gundam series?
Oh, of course. But I didn't get into it until Gundam Wing.
See, I liked Gundam MS-08 Team because it was more like practical. You know, it was like, oh, this could actually happen. Gundam Wing was such a like soap
I mean,
opera.
The animation style was it reminded me of like the old Voltron.
Yeah,
It wasn't particularly great. Whereas the animation style for Gundam Wing, and especially like when they did the full length movie, The Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
I mean, it's artistic. It's artistic and exciting.
It's been a
love
long
that.
time since I've watched that, so maybe I'll go back.
What was your favorite Gundam, Brian?
See, I like the MS-08 Team Gundam.
Okay.
The design of those Gundams.
Well, because I mean, in those cases, those machines, they weren't like really characters. They were kind of characters, but not. In Gundam Wing, the Gundams were the characters.
Yeah,
the
that's
pilots
true.
were kind of secondary.
That's true.
And I mean, everyone says Wing, but I was a big fan of Sandrock. I love Sandrock. I hated Heavy Arms. I just didn't understand.
Oh yeah, heavy. I forgot about those.
Or Wu Fei's. What was his? The Dragon Gundam. That was pretty good. That was
Yeah.
decent.
Didn't he have like a giant scythe or something?
It did. No, that was Duo. That was the American pilots Gundam. He had a big like laser scythe. That was Gundam. So there was Gundam Heavy Arms. There was Wing Gundam, Gundam Sandrock, the Dragon Gundam, and Death Scythe. The Death Scythe.
Death
Gundam.
Scythe, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Okay, so I think I've gotten to the point where I've soldered. Oh no, I have to kind of do my secondary solder a little bit here.
It's your smoke. I'm not smoke.
Yeah, it's smoke. It's part of the mat that was still attached to the tip of the soldering iron. Why is it coming towards me?
Why
I
am
can hear
hearing-
it sizzling.
Is that Alex? Is Alex doing? I hope that's Alex.
That's Alex playing bacon, I think. Making me hungry. Oh, it smells so bad.
Oppa Gundam style.
Okay, so which female, male?
So you want the female on that.
Okay.
So the male connector goes onto the AquaVase side. All right. So this should be good. I've got all my connectors in. This looks very much like, I'm seriously, that smells really bad. I've got all my connectors going the right way. I've got my my common power up top. I've got my common ground tied in on both of them. And then I'm going green, red, blue. If I did this right, I should be able to plug power into my JST connector. I should be able to plug this into the AquaVase, and we should be ready to go. Shall we try it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we get
See
smoke.
if you got it.
So I got
this. Smoke over here. So
yeah, but that smoke's coming from someplace else. Ooh, that stinks. So hey, you know
what
what?
Maker Mat
you
smells like.
Put up with a lot of the funny smells I have when I'm soldering. So
that's true. Not even when you're soldering.
You know, I wasn't going to say that, but okay. All right. So if I did this right, I shouldn't get any sparks. Come on, go in there. There we go. I should get full spectrum. And grow lights. What?
Oh, it works.
And then the B for the Arduino down below.
Nice.
So this is a super simple circuit, but the nice thing about this is, again, I can reuse this anytime I've got a 12-volt project.
Nice, yeah.
Okay. So while you continue to work on that, I'm going to have to do the other side because this is just the power box, but what about the actual connections on the AquaVase itself?
Right.
Okay. And also, I'm going to show you how this works. So I've built a modular box that has a tray, a mid piece, and the top, and it can be reconfigured depending on what you want. So, for example, next week I'm going to show you a project that will be using this to hold Arduinos. There's an actual little Arduino tray that I've built into one of these.
Nice.
So this goes in like so.
So you have two over there, right? Can I see one as an example? Or I thought you had two switches. Oh.
No, yeah,
just a switch.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
That's the original.
Ah, yeah, that's what I
Okay,
wanted
so
to
I'm
see.
going to go ahead and connect this up. Like so, and I've designed the tray so it can't be put on backwards. So don't worry about that. As long as it closes, like so, it's good. And then I just use my screwdriver here. Oh, and by the way, when you're designing pieces for projects like this, it helps to always have like a little bit of a taper so that the screws will recess into the surface, because what you don't want is you don't want them sticking out, because then it becomes kind of ugly. There we go. And then two more on the top to hold down the top surface. And I just got these screws from Home Depot. I found like a box O 3M screws for like $5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, can you pass me the solder when you get a chance?
No, you don't get solder, Brian. Actually, here.
I can't fix my stuff.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, almost done. Get in there. Okay, you know what? I'm having trouble because I'm actually holding it rather than having it on the surface like I should.
Oh, this is... Smitty would not be proud of my work here.
You know what? Smitty is very, very proud of.
Oh, it smells delicious.
Alex really likes doing that to you.
We gave Smitty a bad time when he was on the show. We're like, yeah, you just shame people. You just shame them. He's like, I never did that. I want people to learn.
Smitty is definitely one of these people who just wants you to learn. All right, so I'm going to take this one down, and we're going to take up the one that we've been building. Oh. And this is why you should lock things in, folks.
Whoa. Almost lost the AquaVase there.
It's okay. We didn't need it.
We didn't need it, no.
We didn't want it anyways. All right, so we've got the LED array and the base. And what we need to do is we need to find out how long we want these wires. These were the wires we soldered on towards the end of each of these episodes. We're going to tie these in to our 4-pin connector so that we'll be able to actuate each individual light and function from our power box.
Man, what a pain it must have been to do those LEDs on the bottom.
No, but,
like as much as I have
total
struggled with this.
Well, I mean, see, yeah, but when you do end up doing stuff like this,
yeah,
it's fun.
That's true.
It just, I mean, when you get to look back and go, yeah, that was actually kind of good. I'm getting good at that.
Right.
It does take a lot of foresight though, because you know that whole thing I told you about how you have to strip from one side, not from the other.
Right.
First time I didn't do that right, and I was like, why is this not why does it always end up being the wrong length? I'm like, oh. Right.
All
right. So I know these individual pieces work because we've already tested them on the show. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the the shortest of the aluminum support poles that I have, because I want to keep it in the frame.
Right.
But I'm also going to leave an excess of wire for this top piece because I want to be able to expand this once the plant starts growing.
Okay.
Okay. And actually, I've already cut these to length. Let me just make sure that they're nice and even, and then I'm going to go ahead and strip them. How you doing over there, Brian?
Good. I'm just tinning my switches right now.
Nice, nice. Oh, you know what? You're going to need some screws when you finally.
If I get to there.
You'll get there. You'll get there. You're doing a good job, man. You're doing better than I did the first time.
Well, I have an example to look at. So.
You got to remember, though, I mean, when we do these projects on Know-How, I'm doing them in my workshop at least twice before they come on the show. So I actually do have practice.
That's true. That's true. I don't know if a lot of people realize that there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, despite what you see.
We've got a
on
guffaw
camera
from our director.
Well, I mean, not from me, but you know.
Hey, folks, it takes a lot of work to look disorganized.
That's right. This
This doesn't just happen overnight. This is not magic.
no.
By the way, burning Maker Mat smells disgusting.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's pretty bad.
It's not Maker Mat's fault. It's just
No.
don't burn it. Yeah.
But Maker Mat in the future, can you make your mats out of stuff that smells like roses when it burns?
Can we have bacon mats? Perfect for the soldering burner.
On the downside, I just burnt my hands. On the good side, bacon. All right. So what I need is the male connector. Lucky I have a handy dandy. Oh, by the way, we're going to show you in the future. I have like 12 of these. These are just my standard issue parts boxes whenever I'm traveling, and they include things like Arduinos and all the power cable switches, the different power adapters and transformers. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have. Once you start getting your maker groove, you kind of know what pieces you're going to need over and over again. And I like having these pre-made so I can just grab. And I know what's going to be in there. So like when I'm going to DEF CON, I don't have to really think about what I'm taking. I'm just taking 2 of these kits.
Right. Yeah, I'm upset that I missed out on the Hardware Hacking Village this year.
I know. Hey, but you know what? I won't be there next year, so you'll have to be our eyes in the ground.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it happens. It's all good, man.
All right.
So the common side, the ground side of this circuit, it's going to be very simple. I've got 2 grounds. I've got one this is going up to the LED array, and this is coming down from the base. So both of these are going to get bonded together, and then they're going to be attached to the ground wire, the black wire, on this 4-pin connector. And now on the other side, remember, I went green, red, blue. So green powers the base, red powers the full spectrum lights, and blue powers the grow lights. So those are the wires. I need to find those particular wires, and that's what it's going to be attached to. This is definitely where I'm going to want to use my adhesive heat shrink, because if there's going to be a spill, this is where I'm going to short out, because I've got so many different power connections going. So if you don't yet have adhesive heat shrink, go ahead and buy yourself a set. You okay over there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm all right. I think I've got this.
All right. You got this, man. You're good. You're good.
Well, it's just like if I mess up on one of the other wires, then I have to do the green wire again.
You got lots of green wire. Just remember, you're learning.
I don't want to learn. I just want to be good at
do.
stuff right away.
There's only one person I know who's like that.
Is it Alex Gumpel?
Smitty. Oh, I mean Alex Gumpel. Yeah.
Bacon.
You know what? I think he has that on like speed dial. He just is that a regular? Is that a standard sound in the TriCaster?
No, he's just got like a 10-hour loop of it on YouTube that he
Got a
can go to.
microphone pointed at a pan of bacon right now.
Ah,
You just can't smell it over that mat.
yeah, he's got like a hot plate back there.
Hey, we've got that air fryer which makes incredible tater tots.
Have you tried bacon in that? Oh, right.
I know Spam worked really well.
Yeah, the Spam looked good.
It was what I like, which is I like crispy, but I've been told that that's not good for you because in getting it crispy, you actually create carcinogens. But if there's no grease, if there's no oil, I don't think it does. Can I borrow the?
I don't think it does.
Could I get the solder?
Yeah. Here you are.
Now remember, this LED array is crazy, way more powerful than the first one we did. The prototype one was using some 30 level LEDs. These are using 50/50s. They are so much brighter, which we like.
Brighter is better.
Brighter is better. So I've got the wires tinned on that side. Let's go ahead and tin the wires. Actually, I already tinned the wires on the other side. Oh, no, I didn't. Never mind. So let's tin it on the other side. And then I can start joining. I know that this seems, kind of troublesome, irksome, but this is what most of these projects are. A lot of it comes down to just soldering and getting used to being able to join these circuits.
It's part of the fun.
It is part of the fun. I love this part. It's very zen.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't require so much brain power, so I can always have some sort of anime going on in the background.
And I've walked by your desk a lot, and you just have the loop of videos.
What was it
through.
last? Oh, it was Avatar. I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for a while.
Oh,
The cartoon, the Nickelodeon.
Not the movie, right?
Not the movie. Yeah,
That was a
not
disaster.
Avatar from with the blue aliens, and definitely not Avatar the live action, because that was a disaster.
M. Night, right?
M. Night. Oh, M. Night. How can you take something with such awesome source material and turn it into something so horrible? That's it. But you know what? It's okay, Brian.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It doesn't exist to you, right?
Like as Catbug says, it's okay.
Sugar peas.
Drop them.
All right.
Okay,
Blue, green.
So I'm all tinned up. It's time to start joining my wires.
Same here,
Oh, you need the solder?
if you don't mind.
There you go. So where you at over there?
So I have tinned my switches. I
Nice.
have cut my length of wire
Also
to
nice.
each of the switches, and now I'm going to just do the tips. Tin the tips of the wire, and then attach it to the switches.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take this off because I don't want to drop this over if I accidentally tug on a wire.
Don't tug on the wires.
Don't tug. No tugging. All right. When I'm soldering this, I'm actually going to slip over. This is important again. Both Brian and I have done this.
What's that?
I'm slipping
Oh.
the heat shrink over before I start soldering. Because if you do it after, it's not so effective.
I'm still remembering. There's a project that haunts me because I made it so difficult for myself. Where I was resoldering a motor to the old Cyma
Oh, right.
because one of them had died, and
you
I
forgot the heat shrink.
I forgot the heat shrink, and then I cut them apart and then put them back together and did the heat shrink. And then you looked at me and you're like, why don't you just solder it straight to the board? I was like,
Hey, but that wasn't a judgmental thing. That was just suggestion. It was a
Right.
creative suggestion.
like I didn't have to do all this work, and I didn't have to do it a second time.
But you know what? You're better for having done that work.
Well, yeah, now it haunts me, so I try not to make that mistake ever again.
Everyone has has a story like that. I mean, the best makers in the world have done really stupid things. Because especially, you dial into these projects, you kind of just enjoy doing them, and you forget your procedures.
Right.
I'm sure the best of the best makers have it down, but we're not there yet.
Well, at least I always think back to a friend of mine from high school who changed his oil but left the pan under his car. And then when he went, he just forgot about it.
Oh,
And he
no.
So he did this great job changing the oil, keeping everything clean. He didn't want to, he was doing it in his parents' driveway because he didn't want to get oil in the driveway. And so he was really careful.
And then he drove over
And then he
a pan of
drove
oil.
over it. And not only did it go all the way down the driveway, it got like all over the bottom of his car.
course.
And every time he started his car, it smelled like it was burning
It's gonna
oil.
burn off a little bit of oil.
So I'm like, okay, at least I've never done that.
So what Brian is saying, folks, is find someone who has made a bigger mistake than
Mistake
you
and
make fun of them.
just think to that to make yourself feel better.
All right, so I'm almost done here. I'm just going to go ahead and join up my my like colored cables, and then I should be able to do a systems test on the new AquaVase. Now, in the future, here's the fun part. We're going to be taking the AquaVase in another direction because we do want that remote control, but that remote control is also going to demand that we play with relays. And there have been people in both the Google Plus group and the chat room who have been asking us to show us how to do our relays with Arduino. So this is going to be like the first chapter.
Okay.
Right. This is where helping hands really come in helpful.
Where they earn their name.
This is where they earn their name. And who's got the solder right now? Do you have the solder?
Oh, I think I do. Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Just
I'm
gotta
just gonna
finish
tack
this last wire. All right.
Thank you.
There you go.
Almost had a chicken smell moment there.
Almost, yeah. I could feel the heat coming down the wire pretty quickly. It hurt.
Well, I mean, the at issue is the fact that, again, we have to do this in a way that the camera can still see what we're doing.
Did I do this bad? Now that I look at it, now that I've stepped away,
I will
it
say
should
this.
still work,
I will say
right?
this. The hole for the wire is on one side. But you know what? No, Brian.
I could still make it work.
You
right?
could totally make it work.
Jeez, no. I'm gonna have to desolder the power.
No. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? I will redesign the 3D part for you.
And not until after. I was like, this doesn't look right.
No,
I did
one
like
of
the
these
exact
things
opposite.
is not like the other. One of these
Oh, look at the
things
one I
is
just
not
did,
the
Padre.
same.
I did this.
Great
Look, it's
job.
perfect.
That is awesome. That's perfect. Wow. Okay, so there's some room for growth there.
That's what happens when you're so focused on the soldering part that you're not paying attention to the direction that you're doing it. So which way do you
I'm not
go?
laughing at you, Brian. I'm laughing with you.
Alex is laughing at me.
Alex is definitely laughing at you.
That's okay. I can desolder these pretty easily and flip it around. Okay, I'll do that.
Or do you want a new connector? Do you want a fresh connector?
A fresh connector?
A fresh 4-pin?
No. It's fine. It's fine. That would be way more work. I'll just desolder these guys real quick. No problem.
And again, you know what? I did that once when I was making the prototype, so I totally understand that.
You don't have to lie to make me
No,
feel
I
better.
did. I did. Brian, would I ever lie to you? Have I ever lied to you?
Constantly. I think.
Lots of lying.
Very
You know what it was? It was Alex and the sizzling baking sound.
That's right.
That's what caused the
I'm
issues.
so hungry.
All right, let's do this.
Lay off me. I'm
So this is the connector for the base. So this is going to give power to the Arduino. Let's not roast our own power connector. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice and neat. Clean the tip. And we move on. So the next one, this is a bit more difficult because I knew very easily which one was the base. It's the one coming out of here. Now I need to isolate the one that's going to the full spectrum lights. Remember, this is the pure white one. So I'm going to look over here and I'm going to find the one that's attached to these LEDs, which happens to be this wire right here. So that's the wire that I want to go to the F part of my BFG controller. And that would be this. Ta-da! So this gets soldered red to red. Oh. Now, did you ever do RC cars when you were younger, or that wasn't in for you? Probably not, right?
No, RC car. I loved RC cars. I just don't think my parents ever bought me one. I had like battery powered ones, yeah. But none of like the kid down the block had the gas powered one.
See, I never got into the I didn't like the noise and I didn't like the mess.
Yeah, but that thing hauled.
It does haul, but I mean the problem is, afterwards you have to clean it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't see that part.
That was totally a pain.
I had a couple of RC cars. Well,
I actually had a lunchbox.
You did?
I did. The original lunchbox, an original grasshopper, and an original boomerang.
Yeah, no, I didn't have anything of that scale. I think they're like kind of the cheapy ones.
And when I said I had it, I mean, I did a lot of dumpster diving at the local hobby store.
Oh, and pulled parts out and
Bits
stuff?
and pieces. And that's when, you learn you can assemble a full thing out of a lot of broken things. Oh, hey, Brian, this will make you feel better.
What?
You know how I was talking about how you should always put the heat shrink on before you solder?
Did you not?
I just did that, see?
You're full of it.
No.
You did that to make me feel
No,
better.
see, it happens to everyone, Brian. It totally does.
Wait, this is right? Hold on, focus on my wiring right
You know
now.
what? No, the problem is I'm talking to you. I should not talk to you while you're trying to figure out where you're supposed to put those.
No, it's fine. I got it. I have anime in my head running through.
Which one? Bebop? It's got to be Bebop.
Got my bebops.
Yeah. Actually, I did watch a little Bebop the other day. I watched the first one, the Red Eye.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Well, it introduced you to the characters, and that was when you realized, this is going to be a different kind of anime. This is not standard run and gun.
Yeah, no, it's very, very well, like, cinematography in that first episode, too. with the way that I mean, there's no camera, but the way they do the shots.
Yeah. And also, that was actually the first time I enjoyed jazz.
You weren't much of a jazz man before that?
No.
I can't say that I was either. I know Alex has listened to like all the you like a few of the songs from Cowboy Bebop, right, Al?
Yep.
Well, everyone loves Tank, the title song.
That one, yeah, but you get.
And I have seen jazz ensembles play that, and that is always the one that gets your blood pumping because people. I mean, you can tell. You're looking around the audience, you're like bebop fans. Bebop fans.
Yeah. There's a lot of good music in that series.
Like Mushroom Samba.
Mushroom Samba.
Mushroom Samba.
The Egg and I think is one of them.
The backstory of that universe is fascinating. I think they kind of killed it with the movies.
Oh, yeah.
It lost the lightness that it had when it was a series.
There's some heavy episodes, though. But, yeah, it was a little dark.
Well, all the heavy ones were the ones that had Vicious.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of like how they teased what happened to Earth, but they never really said anything until like the end.
The closest they got was when they did the episode with the kid who never aged.
Right, and the Stargate.
And they kind of showed the explosion, but they didn't, they didn't go into it.
And it's like, because you're always wondering through the series, like, why aren't they at Earth? Why is like nobody doing anything there? It's like, oh, because it's just like.
Because it's a
wasteland now.
Everyone's underground eating Ryokos.
Which is, okay, Adventure Time, that story is messed up.
Well, I didn't learn about that until I was well into the series. That it's like, no, this is supposed to be Earth. This is not some fantasy land. I'm like, oh, then that's dark.
It is super. It's like post-apocalypse.
Super dark. You think it's this weird cartoon, and it's like, no, this is the state of humanity now.
Okay, so I take the two grounds and I twist them together and put heat shrink over.
I would probably add a strip a bit more wire to make it easier because if it's that short, it's going to be difficult to do it. One last bit, and this is a little tip that people can use. If your connections stick out a little bit, I always snip off the excess because I don't want it poking through the heat shrink. But also, you can use a standard set of pliers and just kind of crush your connector down and then just resolder. Make sure you always reflow it because you want to cover that. So this is what it looks like. Again, don't tell Smitty because this is not my best work. But now I'm going to be able to run because I did this properly. I'm going to go ahead and run all the heat shrink over my joints. Get them nice and insulated, like so. And and by the way, thank you. I had a member of the chat room who said, "Hey, you've got a reworking station. Why not just turn the heat all the way down and use it as the heat gun for your heat shrink?" And that was a fantastic idea. I don't know why I never thought about that.
Because no one had ever suggested it.
There we go. Okay, so heat up.
How far away are we from completion?
This is
the final.
This is it. Yeah.
Countdown.
This is as soon as I get this insulated, I should be able to plug this in, and we should get lights. And once we get lights, we will officially have shown our audience all the steps they need to create Project AquaVase.
And the nice thing is that you can use these switches for other projects too.
Yep. That's why we're making it a modular. That's why next week's episode we are dovetailing directly into creating the little nano box that we're using as our thing. We want to start doing projects on know-how where you can take the knowledge from one episode and things that you've built from one episode and use it to make projects in another episode. And this nano box will be coming up over and over again because I love the modular approach. Okay, so if I did this right, I should be able to connect this to my little BFG box, like so. Oh, I bent the pins, like so. And then give it power, like so. And I'm going to just do a quick systems test before we integrate everything. Because if there's going to be smoke, I want it to be smoke in a safe way. Like this. Okay, so grow lights. Oh, full spectrum lights.
Right.
Oh, and Arduino. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Yeah, wow. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when it's fully assembled. And remember, these lights are so much brighter than the ones in the prototype LED array. So this is going to look kind of magical.
Better put your sunglasses on, basically.
Future is so bright. So first, We get the Arduino lights on. You're not going to see much because there's no water in here.
Right.
But then full spectrum's pretty bright. So that's designed to give you the
decent.
true color of your crops. But then, bam!
Ah!
That's bright.
Yeah.
That's crazy bright.
Nice.
But from here,
Your plants are going to be growing fast.
you know it.
Cool.
Well, folks, that's it for Project AquaVase, at least for now. Brian,
I finished my switch. I need to heat shrink the ground.
You want to test it?
I
Hey,
could.
let's test it.
Yeah, let's
Come on.
test. Yeah, let's see.
Let's do it.
You test it, Padre.
I mean, I'm not going to touch any of the wires, but
Don't touch that.
okay.
What? Did I already do it wrong? You said the female, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, is that the?
You put the male.
How is that the? I thought that was the. This is the male.
Okay,
Isn't it?
why is this the male?
That's the female.
Why is this the male?
Because it has. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We will fix that in the next episode of Know How. Brian, I know that this was a lot of information for them to try to absorb in a very short amount of time. Thank you for sitting with us for it. By the way, this is always a lot of fun whenever we get to do these Let's Solder episodes.
I do have fun doing that.
If they want to know all the instructions, all the parts, all the links, where do they go?
They go to twit.tv/KH and you'll find all the links for the switches and the wires and all the parts that we used for this project. And you'll also find a way to download and subscribe, which for this project, there's multiple episodes, so you'll probably need to do that and go back.
I noticed that you've hooked up power panels to each other. So now it's a way to create an explosion.
Right.
All right.
Just if you need to disassemble, cut the red wire.
And folks, if you want to join our social community, just go over to what is it? Google Plus. Go to Google Plus, look for Know How. There's an approval process so we can keep out the spam accounts. But once you're in, you get access to almost 11,000 Kitas. That's our know-it-alls. We've got them in all ranges, all sizes, all colors. If you're an expert, come in and help the youngers. If you're brand new, you can come in and find ideas for projects or maybe ask questions about an issue that you're having. And you're going to find that, again, all on Google Plus and look for Know How.
That's right. But if you want to figure out what anime we're watching right now or what we're up to when we're not on Know How, like we'll be going to Maker Faire in a couple of days. Actually, our flight leaves tonight.
Yeah, in a couple of hours.
Anyway, you'll want to follow us on Twitter for those updates. And I am at cranky_hippo.
And you're going to find me at Padre SJ. We've also got our director, the man who he actually works really hard to give us bacon effects, and I see his hand
bacon.
hovering over the soundboard. So
His name is Halix.
both of us at the same time. You can't stop us both. ANELF. And now 3. Until next time, I am Father Robert Balaser.
And I'm Brian Burnett.
And now that you know how,
Go switch it. But make sure you solder the right end.